Oh, hi. I'm just here on a Sunday night with my mug wine, here to answer Albany's 20 burning questions for Sunday Fun Day. AKA the 6-month anniversary of our blog and or project or whatever it is, because we still don't know. No, but I prepared for this first question because I'm filming on my phone, of course, by sending myself some notes. So her first question is just read me a note off of your phone, because she knows that's where all of my creative genius lies. But that's honestly where I go to put any random idea that I think of that I think I'm gonna forget. The only problem is that I still, like, you remember, even if you have the words, like with the note, you still don't have the exact idea and the context. So there's still, I was scrolling through a million of them and I don't know what half of them mean. So sometimes it doesn't even matter if you write them down. But I like this one. It just says, I just ripped a hair out of my boob tape. And that's all it says. So that was important enough for me to remember and put it in a note. This one is good. This one is an actual quote that I overheard in a Uber pool. It was these two people in the back seat and I was in the front seat. And for context, they were talking about how they all were on acid the night before, and this girl goes, he was making her feel inferior because she didn't know her rising sign. Like, just chill out, realign your chakras, and smoke a bowl. And that's exactly how she said it. And if you don't know the Instagram Overheard LA, that was my hot contender. Let's move on. Number 2, if you could have one magical power, what would it be? I feel like I've heard that of the like 2 big ones that people usually decide between, which is flying and invisibility. Like, those 2 things say a lot about you. Like, if you want to be able to fly, you want to like take over the world and you're assertive or whatever. And if you want to be invisible, you want to like hide from the world. And so that one is always in my head of like, if I say this, it means this. I think flying would be really fun, but the one time I was able to lucid dream, this has only happened once, I was like, oh, well, I should just fly. Like, I knew I was dreaming, and so I was like, well, naturally. And so it only worked once, but I was able to fly on my own accord in my dreams, so that's a power I have, you know, for the unconscious side. And then being invisible is too creepy. The one thing I've always thought of that I thought would be cool, because I think it's so hard sometimes to describe what you're feeling to a doctor, pain-wise, or just like if, you know, if the pain is shooting or it's dull or it's achy or whatever, if there was a way, there was a magical power or something where like I could just touch someone and feel exactly what they were feeling, or just like if a doctor had the ability to do that, and then that way they would know exactly, you know, hopefully what the problem was and what to prescribe. Because I think sometimes it can be really hard, and with language barriers too, that could solve that problem, to just describe, you know, the pain that you're having. One thing about you that would surprise me, I feel like you know everything about me. I don't know what I would surprise you with. I feel like most of my life I've been really shy and like unassuming and like haven't, you know, been an outspoken whatever voice on things. The one take I feel like I really did take a stand on gender culture, I would say, is 3rd grade Halloween. Every girl I knew was like a princess or some sort of like some costume that involved some type of like makeup and or dress, because that was the funnest thing. And I decided that I wanted to be a snowman, and my mom, because she was like craftsy and amazing, made me this big snowman outfit that meant it was so big, it was so authentic that I literally could not sit down in my seat at school all day. Like, I was so big that, and I was like, and I don't know if I did this at the time to be fuck the man, fuck the princess, I don't know, but in retrospect, I'm like surprised at myself that I didn't just like follow the fucking sheep and be a princess. Okay, the next one is confess something about your confess something about a pic from your IG feed, which I feel like Avni is saying that I'm a fake IG poster. I'm just kidding. I mean, I was looking through it and I couldn't really think of anything specific for any one of them. All of them I was just kind of thinking like, oh, I would confess that I spent way too much time agonizing over the filter, the series of edits that it went through to become what it was on various different apps. You know, I doubt that anyone cares that much between the slightly tinted orange sky and slightly whatever, you know, like, I know no one cares, but here we are. Which of the seasons most accurately reflects your personality? That's a good question. I would say spring. Spring has always been my favorite season because I feel like it's very slow to come around. You know, it will give you a few little like hints of like, yeah, all right, you're cool, I'll talk to you. And then snatch it right back away when it's not feeling like it anymore. And it's very like, at least in Minnesota, spring doesn't mean like flowers. It means like the snow just gets really slushy and gray. Everything's kind of a mess for a while. I identify with the mess. Hogwarts House, Ravenclaw. I decided that one for myself, I think, because it's like the intellectual one, and I was like, I'm smart and good at school. And also I bought a Ravenclaw notebook at Universal Studios, so it better be Ravenclaw. Favorite piece you've created for the project for EEY thus far? That's hard. Everything I've done has been pure art. Let me look actually. Okay, didn't take me long, I just had to be reminded. This is so lame, but like the one I honestly go back and read because I think it's just fun is Dreams and the Things I've Learned from Them. The one that was just like a wild, you know, topic, do whatever you want week, and I was like, I have an idea. And yeah, I really enjoyed writing that one. I wrote it on the way to Vegas, just in the car. We were just stuck in traffic, and I was just on my phone, like, and I don't know, I love dreams. I think they're really cool. Tell me a city in which you'd like to live besides Chi-Town. I love Chicago. Honestly, recently I've been thinking so much more and more about New York, which is so dumb. It's the opposite of the city I should move to. Like, we've been talking about movies that were cheaper. That's not cheaper. But Abe said something about how, like, I always wanted to live there when I was young. I've always said I always wanted to live there when I'm rich, if that happens. Just because it's one of those cities where it seems like it's that much more helpful to be rich. But I don't know. Honestly, right now, just given the state of like what our country is doing with climate change and, you know, I don't know, healthcare, everything, I want to live anywhere but the US. I want to live, like, Vancouver seems really cool. Sweden seems like it knows what it's doing. I keep on telling people if I ever have kids, whatever, I'm moving to Sweden. Yeah, I think, like, I always wanted to live, I always thought after I studied abroad in college, I would live abroad after I graduated, and I never did, and so I still kind of want to do that, and, I don't really care where, I don't know, just get me out. Tell me something on your bucket list. It's funny, I don't have a written down one. All of mine might be travel related. I feel like in general, in terms of what I think about, like, what is worth doing in life, mine is like, well, see everything you can, see the world. I want to go to Machu Picchu before, I mean, I think they've talked about closing it off to tourists. I want to go to Mordor, aka New Zealand. I want to go to Patagonia. I'm having an existential moment right now, trying to think about like, should I have more goals than just like seeing the world? But we don't need to think about that right now. A song you can't get out of your head right now. all of the A Star Is Born soundtrack. I specifically have just been listening to Digging My Grave, I was gonna say the duet, there's many duets, but it's a good one. It's fun, it's a fun one. Favorite physical feature? I feel like this is a cop-out, but it's actually not. I don't know. I really like my hair because I can really do anything I want with it. Like right now it looks amazing. And, but I can make it any color I want. I mean, it has been pink, it has been blonde, it has been this color. It is turning gray a little bit, but it's fine. And, I can curl it, scrunch it, straighten it, you know. It's a little easier to do some of those things than others because it's naturally curly, but you know, not everybody has curls that hold or straight that hold. So it's nice to just be able to throw it around. Book you've read a million times. My cats are eating. Sorry. Sarah Dessen, either The Truth About Forever or This Lullaby, both by Sarah Dessen, both summertime teeny bopper romance novels, but like teen romance. They're like very PG. And I think I read them at least once every summer for my entire like middle school through teen years and a few summers after that. Those books just do not get old and remind me of being young and hopeful. I'm also sitting on top of all my laundry. Favorite personality trait? Oh, you're making me look inside. Cool. Honestly, I like that I'm opinionated. Especially sometimes when, you know, you feel like your voice and your opinion doesn't matter and nothing's changing and helping and or just that, like, you know, sometimes creatively I feel like I have nothing to say and, you know, I'm like, what do I have to offer the world? So when I get into a conversation and realize like, oh, I actually have a really strong opinion about this and that's cool and it's cool to care and not just take a back seat and not be uninformed. You've won the lottery. Great. What is the first thing you buy for yourself? I was gonna ask you this too, but I didn't. I don't know, I feel like it's so lame to say like a trip. I think I would buy not only a vacation, but for my entire family, like extended family, anybody that fucking wants to come can just like hop on the plane to Fiji with me. You're all invited. I mean, not everyone. It can be a little expensive, but no, I'm just kidding. I think just like, yeah, like I think the first thing I want to do is celebrate. So like, why not just like fly your entire family to Miami and just like chill for a couple days? I think that would be really fun. And then you can figure out like practical and logistical things to do with your money. In your opinion, what's the most embarrassing? This is amazing. What's the most embarrassing part about the 50 Shades franchise? LOL. Oh my god, where to start? I mean, I'm embarrassed for sex. Like, I think that, like, I don't know. I don't know well. I don't know the ins and outs. That's a bad phrasing, of that, I don't know, like, type of sex? I don't know, that, like, kink, fetish, whatever you want to call it. Not my thing. But, like, at the end of the day, sex is supposed to be pleasurable and fun. And, like, I think maybe by the third movie, they're both very much on the same page. But, like, I don't know, there's just, like, there's no joy in him. Which makes, like, I saw a tweet the other day that, like some girl put it on and, like, watched it with her boyfriend who, like, had no idea what it was. And he was, like, is this movie about a serial killer? Like the words that he fucking says in the first movie especially, that some of them are direct quotes from the book, so it's not the movie's fault, but you're just saying the franchise itself. There's lines that he says with no inkling of irony, and what I like about the movie, what I honestly unironically love, is that she laughs and that she like thinks that he's ridiculous. But what I don't like about the movie is that like he never can laugh at himself, and that's embarrassing. So I'll say that. Worst meal you've ever eaten. I feel like you're just trying to get me to tell the story of that one time I ate pizza off the street in New Orleans. Just kidding. I don't know if that was the worst meal I've ever eaten though. I mean, there was one time that my dad, I thought he was jokingly pulling over in Boondocks, Iowa to eat, but then we all, like, I was sitting in the back seat of the car and I was like, ha ha ha, the joke is still funny, except then everyone started actually getting out of the car and I was like, what's happening? And I don't even remember what we ate, but it was one of those, it's just like, the salad was like a few pieces of iceberg lettuce with like croutons. That doesn't sound that bad. I don't know. It was just like, the place was called Boondocks. That's all I'm gonna say about that. What's my worst quality? I asked you what your biggest weakness was. We're in the lows. Just kidding. I think my worst quality, like, deep shit wise, is, you know, focusing on the negative, especially negatives about myself, and believing the stories I tell myself, which are, you know, 99% negative, and not, you know, seeing the things I have to be grateful for. And then other, like, low-key wise, I'm a really bad procrastinator, as I'm sure you can't even tell. And in general, about myself, I think that everything is going to take me 5 minutes, no matter what it is. So when I tell someone, like, I'll be there in 5 minutes, or, yeah, like, I think this thing will be done by 3:30, like, I need to learn that no matter what it is, there could be traffic, there could be complications. With me, there are always complications. And I just need to allow myself like half an hour more time than everybody else needs. And that'll just work out better for me. Tell me something you're hopeful for. I am hopeful for, I was very worried about these midterm elections. You'll see my piece on that next week. But I was very worried that just people weren't gonna care, people were gonna show up, that the Russians were gonna hack it all, and that no matter if people even did show up, that it wouldn't matter. I think there is cause to say that, like, in certain places in Georgia and Florida, that might be the case, like, because of voter suppression. But I'm very hopeful about the first gay governor in Colorado. I'm very hopeful about the first 2 Native American congresswomen. I'm very hopeful about the first 2 Latina congresswomen from Texas. Can you fucking believe that? In Texas, there's never been a Latina congresswoman. But Orange County went blue, just barely, but they did. They threw out their pro-Putin, pro-crazy person congressman. Not to mention the first 2 Muslim congresswomen from Michigan and Minnesota. It's all about politics, but the midterms did just happen, and I was feeling very not hopeful about politics for a long time. Which, not to bring it down on this like nice hopeful ending note, but there's a lot of shit going on. There's mass shootings and fires, and 60%, I think I read, of the world's like animal population has been decimated since, I don't know, the 70s. Like, we're not doing great. I'm gonna fact check that later. But I don't know, the only way they're gonna change that is if people in power care, and none of them do right now, as far as I can tell. At least not the right ones. I don't know. But that's where I'm at. I don't know. I'm hopeful about this project. Having this to look forward to, I don't I assume, Albany, you're the only person watching this. I don't care. um, I just like having that. I can't believe we did this for 6 months. Like, I'm so glad that you told me that it was. I didn't even realize it had been 6 months. Um, but just like, I don't know. I've never been able to like keep to something consistently, and this it just proves that you gotta do stuff together. You gotta keep people accountable. And I'm not making any fucking sense right now. I'm at the bottom of my wine mug, but I am hopeful for us, Abe, that we will make it. I don't know. But happy 6 months to everyone except you. I hope everybody in their life finds someone that they feel like they can say those words to. I hate everyone except you. Is that a hope for other people? I hope so. Happy Sunday.